Hey folks, welcome back. So today we have a very hotly anticipated item sitting here. I'm really glad to finally have this. This is the Mothership Deluxe set from Tuesday Night Games. So Mothership is a kind of OSR styled, old schoolish, in other words, take on horror in space role-playing. Kind of like Alien from Free League, but going into a different style of mechanics and or more general than Alien. It's not focused on just one type of xenomorph. There's a lot of creepy creatures. There's dungeon crawling aspects to it. And it really looks like a lot of fun. Now, what's interesting about this game is that this is the official first edition. There had been a 0E as such, which was released, in small booklet form a while back, and then it got really popular. There were loads of third-party supplements and adventures made for it. It just took off in a big way. So they said, hey, let's do a Kickstarter and do a proper version, which they did. And of course, like every RPG Kickstarter I've ever been a part of, it went way over schedule and people got very upset about it. So my recommendation, as always, put your pledge in and set it and forget it. When the pledge manager invite comes, fill it out and then forget about it. And then what happens is some point in the future, you'll get a shipping notification, go, ooh, what's that? I don't know who this person is. It's some kind of distribution company, and your Kickstarter will show up, and it'll be like Christmas in July or whenever, May in this case. That's my recommendation. Don't get stressed out because RPGs are big projects. This box in particular is packed full of stuff, so I'm not surprised it took a long time to complete. Plus, to have these extra little widgets here. This will come, I think, to retailers, and I think it's going to be really popular, so do keep an eye out for it. The deluxe set comes with rules plus loads of adventures and cool stuff. But first, I'll show you this little extra bit. So this here is the conversion kit. You can see it's just a little pamphlet basically, but this means that if you're playing 0E, this is a quick guide on how you can convert everything, all your stats, your armor, weapons, stress and panic mechanics, skills, loadouts, all that kind of stuff into the new system. If you're still using, still have some stuff that you spent money on from 0E that you haven't ran, you can run it in 1E. Just use this booklet to convert things and it shouldn't be too bad. It's only, like I said, a brief booklet, so I think, once you've done it a few times, it'll be pretty easy to do it on the fly, just with the booklet next to you, just in the same way that you can kind of print out the couple of pages of conversion guides for old Call of Cthulhu to Call of Cthulhu 7E, and after a while you can just convert it in your head on the fly. It's not a big deal. So that's really nice that they've done that and included that. The other thing is this little landing crew patch for the early adopters. So it says, to dust you shall return, Genesis 3:19, I'm guessing is what that means. We've got a skull in an astronaut suit, very cool looking. I don't know what I'm going to put it on, but it is very cool, very atmospheric, and definitely fits the vibe of the game. So with that, let's get this out of the plastic here. You can see the box itself is really, really thick and sturdy. It's got this really excellent design across it. I really love the visual effect of this. Pipes and look like gun barrels and cybernetics and things. And it just has this beautiful sheen to it, this golden decoration. It's really lovely. And yeah, it's also embossed, so it sticks out from the surface. You can feel it. So it's got that three-dimensionality as well, which I really like. Here we go. So Mothership First Edition, the deluxe set. Now, ready for looking at. Oh, there's a sheet on the back as well. I didn't know that. So, yeah, the sheet tells us what's actually in the box. So, the deluxe set includes a player's survival guide, which is 44 pages, Warden's operation manual, which is a 60-page GM guide, Shipbreaker Soul Kit, 44-page book with stats for 10 ships and rules for space travel, Unconfirmed contact reports, which is a 56-page monster book, basically, another bug hunt, 44-page intro adventure, Dead Planet, 48-page award-winning adventure, Pound of Flesh, 52-page award-winning cyberpunk space station adventure, Gradient Descent, a 64-page adventure set in an abandoned android factory, over 300-plus rooms of exploration. That's pretty cool. Warden screen, so a trifold GM screen, which you can see there in the picture. Double-sided poster map, a 17 by 22 inch ship combat diagram, and jump liner deck plan. 15-plus heavy cardstock pawns, which you can see here, if you want to have like a physical representation of battle. 2 sets of D100 game dice, and a custom D20 panic die. Very cool. There's also, they've got a link to this, Learn Mothership RPG at this link. I'm not sure if it's up yet. It's been a little bit crazy, the fulfillment process, apparently, but again, I didn't really pay attention, so. But I'm sure it'll be online soon. What you can do as well, you can download, they have a free app that lets you generate characters really, really quickly. So we'll take a quick look closer up at the box. Again, this lovely gold embossing is really, really nice. It definitely feels deluxe. You can see on the side, it continues as well. And on the back, it says deluxe set and just gives us a summary of the book contents, the survival guide, warden's manual, etc., etc. Copyright 2023. Of course, it's 2024 now, but, we'll ignore that. I think they had I'm guessing they had supply line issues and, cardboard shortages and all the problems everybody else has had over the last few years. So, inside, Survive, solve, save. Very cool. Again, giving you that atmosphere of what this game's about, which is spaceborne terror. Oh, and that app I was talking about. Here you go. So this is the Mothership Companion app. It's got a one-click character generator. So if you're a warden, the GM equivalent, you want to create an NPC in 2 seconds, you can do that. Or you can generate a character for a one-shot immediately. It's got a custom die roller. You can import and export characters. Contractors, not sure what that means yet. You can upload character portraits. There's a typo there, but you know. And yeah, you can get it for iOS or Android. So should be available to pretty much everybody. I have it already on my phone. I haven't looked at it, tell by my relative lack of knowledge, but I do have it ready to go. Now we've got the GM screen. So this is actually nicer than I expected. It's about the thickness of the Fallout screen that I've shown on another video recently. So pretty nice quality, kind of hardcover book stock. Tons of useful tables here. We've got a wound table with different severities down one side here. So minor injury, major injury, lethal injury. So you need to make a death save. Fatal injury. Then you've got blunt force wounds, bleeding wounds, gunshot wounds, fire and explosive wounds, and gore and massive wounds. Then we have damage and the type of weapons that deal the damage, armor and cover, and how that works, death save rolls, tactical considerations. Here you can have all kinds of stuff. You could have high ground, you could have explosive objects, you could have one side being entrenched, you could have a stealth mission or ambush, all kinds of stuff. And we got some medical treatments, their cost and their description. We've got survival rules for different problematic situations, so toxic atmospheres, corrosive atmospheres, bleeding, cryo sickness, exhaustion, food and water or the lack thereof, lack of oxygen, radiation at level 1 trace, radiation level 2 acute, radiation level 3 lethal, and stimpack overdose. Ooh. Then on the second panel, we've got your panic table. So this is what can happen when you get sort of a horrible encounter with a interstellar beastie of death. So I guess we'll see the special panic die and what that looks like. All sorts of things can happen. You could be doomed, deflated, which are conditions. You can be a coward. You can get jumpy. You could get an adrenaline rush. You could go into a rage. You could go catatonic. Or you could just have a heart attack or retire, which means you just die. Then we have panic checks, failure levels, pay, stats and their saves, contractors. Okay, so this is like hirelings. If you want to hire people to work on your ship, these are the costs to get different types of people, from desperate people and criminals at a very low salary to top of the line professional specialists, corporate fixers and surgeons at the top level. And then we've got different kinds of leads for investigation scenarios, so documentary, physical, and testimonial, type of contract work you can do, price tiers for different categories of things you might want to buy, puzzle components, things that can happen as a result of solving a puzzle or failing to do so. Then we've got, finally on the third page, mega damage. I guess that looks like serious damage to the spaceship. So radiation leaks, life support offline, hull breaches, that kind of stuff. Ship stats, you've got thrusters, battle, and systems. Ports, so there's different classes of ports that can accommodate different kinds of ships with different levels of reputation, it looks like. Repairs and maintenance for your ships, different classes of ships, distress signals, space travel costs, interplanetary travel costs, and for cargo and hangar space as well, interstellar travel costs, fuel costs, ship combat procedure, ship range and distance. That's going to be useful. We've got types of planet, so liquid surfaces, terrestrial surfaces, and gas, size, gravity, atmosphere type, and climate. If you want to roll up random planets, you've got bankruptcy, save consequences. You can create random geological features, randomly roll who controls a faction, and the population of worlds as well. So this is all kind of generating random worlds you might travel to, which is pretty cool. So you can definitely have some interstellar campaigns. Now, on the other side, artwork-wise, we've got what looks like some brutish alien-style retro future machinery. We've got some grim-looking cybernetic organism with the Mothership logo on its forehead here. On the other side, again, symmetrical to the other panel. So it's pretty cool in a full spread here. There you go. Looks nice. All right, so that is the Warden's screen. Very nicely done. Then we have our map here. So I'm not sure if I can show all of this, but I'll try and give you an idea. So we have a ship combat map. So this relates to what we saw on the GM screen. It seems like there's different sort of engagement ranges that you'll deal with when you're in a ship combat situation. So contact range, firing range, detection range, and beyond detection range. So at each stage, you'll be able to react in different ways, I presume. We have, again, the mega damage table on the bottom. We have the latency of communication depending on the distance. That's really cool. Evasion fuel costs for each of these to get through each of these zones. That's cool. Then we have scanners show visuals, damage, and life forms at contact range. When firing, they'll show transponders and weapon systems. Detection range, they'll show vessel size, location, and trajectory. And then we have sort of a relative depiction of these scales. So detection range is, out to the edge of a system. Firing range, maybe a neighboring planet or jump point. Contact range is from a planet surface to like maybe a neighboring moon or station or something like that. So that's pretty cool. And then I think the other side we have deck plans, which we do. In fact, we have the Boss Lehman J1C3 Contessa. So the command crew is captain, first officer, navigator, mechanic, and doctor. We have some service staff, including some synthetics for flight attendants, housekeeping, etc. Can carry 15 first-class passengers, 40 second-class, and 180 in steerage class. We've got different kinds of habitats, crew habitat, second class habitat, sea deck, priority cryo deck. So that'll be like your low berths if you're a traveler player. So we've got the ring decks, first class habitat. So I guess they will have gravity in first class because they'll be rotating. And it has crew capacity, thrusters, battle and systems ratings, some features like laser defense systems, agar cushioning for first class only, med bay. It's a fully featured cruise ship with plenty of space for entertainment for first class passengers. There we go. And there's meal costs and travel costs as well if you are a passenger yourself or if you want to charge passengers, I guess, if you're running the ship. So again, that's very cool. Both maps look great. The paper is, decent poster paper. Nothing spectacular, not free league level, but pretty good. Then we have our pawns. So we've got a pretty horrific looking beastie here. We've got a couple of ships, 3 ships. We have some vac-suited individuals. We have, I'm going to guess these are various possible contractors and or player types that we have here. And then we have some tokens, which I'm guessing will refer to initiative and ranges and stuff like that. I don't know the rules at all. This is just an unboxing, so sorry about that. I do like that all of these have facing, as you can see. So when you have these standees up, facing will matter. You see the back of everybody. You see that guy's butt, back of the ship, the back of the monster. So I'm guessing that facing will matter in some way in the game, which is always cool if you want to get tactical with it. Then we got, little compartments here. Containment A. What's in here? We've got something. What is this? Nothing? There's nothing in here. Is that supposed to be? What? I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, well, we've got the Player's Survival Guide, which is the main player's book. Again, this is an OSR style game, so the rules are tight, the rules are short. You can see, again, the character profile, which has this nice kind of flow chart. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, Step 5, Step 6. And then you go to Step 7, note your class skills, choose bonus skills. Then you go rolling for your equipment, loadout, trinket, and patch. So, they make things really nice. The layout is really clear, what you need to do, both on the sheet and in the booklet itself. There are basic loadouts for different classes. Then you have trinkets, patches you can roll for, equipment you can roll for, stuff you can buy. You can get pets as well. Failure to protect them comes at a significant emotional cost. Panic check if a pet is killed, if it's organic. 1 stress if your pet is destroyed, if it's synthetic. That's cool. And we got weapons with illustrations. Ooh, I love that. Reminds me of Alien, which is, again, a fantastic RPG. We've got illustrations of armor and all the key parts of that. That's really cool as well. Again, very immersive. How to be a great player. You should expect characters to die, play smart. You should expect violence to be punishing, the odds to be stacked against you, to make difficult choices, to pay attention, and have a safe play environment. Just because it's a horror game doesn't give you carte blanche to traumatize people. Be reasonable. Then we have some basics about dice notation, player supply checklists, pen and paper, all the stuff you need. Stat checks, saves, gaining stress, relieving stress, when to make panic checks with the panic table here again. Okay, skills, train skills, expert skills, and master skills. Give you some examples as well for everything. That's nice. Training skills. We need a lot of years to train for skills. That's quite something. Military training. Violent encounters. So here we get the combat rules. So what you can do in a fight, seems like you can either go with a strict turn order or not by making speed checks if you want a strict turn order. Making attacks, taking damage, counting for armor and cover, taking wounds, dealing with death. And we have our wound and death tables here, appropriately enough. Range and distance for firing. Then we have survival rules. So these are about when you're exploring somewhere, perhaps a new planet or a new spatial environment. Short-term recovery, long-term recovery in medical care, medical treatments, example of play. It's handy. The different classes of ports, taking shore leave, hiring contractors. So these are hirelings, just a space equivalent of those. And yeah, the person who controls the contractor should be the person who hired them, or any player who doesn't have a character present in the scene currently. That's smart. That way everybody stays sort of involved in what's going on. And this lovely, lovely character sheet, which I can't stress enough, is great. And of course, if you bought the deluxe set, you got everything in PDF as well. Then we have the Warden's Operation Manual. Again, we're just going to do a quick flip through here. So it's got right into the advice on how to prepare your first session. Find a horror, something to survive, something to solve, someone to save, map it out, and then deal with the final details. So different kinds of scenario starters. You can even generate them randomly if you want. What kind of horror you want to have. Transgression, omens, manifestations, banishment, slumber, surviving the nightmare. So different ways and different types of missions you can undergo. Tactical considerations you might need to worry about. Something to solve. So questions, puzzles, and answers. Puzzle components, which we saw on the Warden screen as well. Creating compelling answers to your puzzles. Using different types of evidence to create leads. So players can solve mysteries. Then generating someone to save. They could be powerful, could be unhelpful or helpful, or they could be powerless. And there's different people along these different axes, or a wild card. That's pretty cool. So different types of people. You might need to decide whether they're worth saving, I guess. Here we have how to draw a simple map for a scenario. It's pretty cool. I mean, this is really a nice little detailed guide on how to, from the ground up, generate a full scenario. That's very cool. Then we get into running the first session. Don't worry about the rules. You'll learn. Maintain a safe playing environment. Use common sense. Roll as little as possible. Good first principles. What's different about Mothership? There's no levels or experience points. Characters improve by converting stress into better saves. Characters mostly improve by making allies, acquiring wealth or a ship, installing cyber mods, gaining knowledge, and collecting favors within the game world. Don't roll for every little thing. No social rolls. Violence is extremely deadly. Encounters are not balanced. That's something I really like in a lot of games, including Call of Cthulhu and Traveler, Alien as well. So stats and saves are not part of your personality necessarily. They're your ability to act under extreme pressure. So then you want to tells you how to teach people the rules, safety instructions, running games for strangers, a flowchart for how to kind of engage the players and get them playing, how to describe the situation, the rising and falling of tension as you go through the session, keeping track of technology, setting the stakes, so making sure there's more than just death or life for your characters, but there's something else you need to do, so it's a more engaging story. How to resolve the action, so when to roll, when not to roll. What does failure mean? Making up house rules, and when you need to make a ruling if there's something that feels like it needs a roll, but you're not sure how to handle it. And we got social encounters, death, and it happens a lot, and make sure you tell players that, and add their death to the roster at the campaign notebook, and make a big show of adding the newly departed to the list so it feels like a badge of honor rather than a loss. Very cool. And running investigations, running ships in space, building a campaign, so expanding out from a single episodic structure. Campaign framework, so you got space truckers, mercenaries, explorers, dogs of war, corporate inspectors, off-world colonists, crash landers, hyperspace raiders, mining and salvage, and bounty hunters. Very cool. A lot of these are reminiscent of Traveler, but some of them are unique. The kind of dogs of war is a bit different. Bounty hunters is coming to Traveler this year. There's a book coming out for that, but it's not there yet. It was in older editions, but it's just now coming to Mongoose 2nd edition. Creating starting areas in a campaign, setting up different waypoints and jump points, then creating factions, using factions, giving them goals, giving them mind maps so they have objectives that they might achieve while the players are doing their stuff. How much should jobs pay? So hazard pay, expenses, working for trade, negotiation, campaign economics, dealing with debt, saving money. What if they get rich? Then maybe they retire and lead a much more relaxed lifestyle, or maybe something happens that means that money doesn't stick around. So depending on what the player wants to deal with. How to customize your campaign. So there's difficulty settings. That's pretty cool. So there's some house rules that are nice and simple, but can make a pretty big change. So for example, player-facing roles, opt-in stress. So players volunteer when they gain stress and make panic checks when they feel it's appropriate. Light ammo tracking. That's cool. Lethality, ignore health, just use wounds. Lots of really great little house rules that can make a significant change to the perceived difficulty of the game, but don't require learning much. And then mixing up your subgenres of horror. Recommended media, of course, Aliens in there, Stalker, Event Horizon, Starship Troopers. Yeah, pretty cool stuff in there. Finding inspiration, telling a good story. Here's some interesting random bits of lore you could throw in. Run shorter campaigns and sequels. So there you go. I think this is a fantastic GM's guide. I'm really, really excited about this. I mean, I've GM'd a bunch of different games now, but I mean, this is just, it takes you right from first principles to running full campaigns with different kinds of horror, different campaign frameworks, and it just lays it all out for you, which is really fantastic. Then we have the Shipbreaker Soul Kit. I'll go through these bits pretty quickly because I don't want to spoil everything. So here we have details about ships. Got a drop ship. We've got a raider. We've got side view. They've got coffin landers as well. That's cool. Deck plan. Executive transport. We got habitat decks and then a wider deck plan as well. We have freighters with cargo decks, freighter deck plans, and the size of a shipping container, which can contain a coffin lander relative to a human. That's pretty useful. Got a patrol craft, so these are going to be armed with auto cannons, it looks like, so they can do quite a bit of damage. And they got cryo chambers as well as habitat decks. Salvage cutters, so these prowl around space and grab up abandoned ships or bits of tech. We've got a corvette, a true warship. So it's got a missile launcher and autocannons, plus 2 fighters and a med bay. So really designed for battle. It's also got a marine mechanized infantry platoon, complete with an order of battle here. 55 Marines with a first lieutenant, divided into 6 squads, complete with dropship and APC support. Cool. A jump liner, so these are the gargantuan ships that carry large amounts of passengers through space. So we've got a kind of rough deck plan here, and the bigger deck plan is, so see, this is the Boss Laman Contessa. So the big deck plan for this is that poster that we saw earlier on in this unboxing. We have the Tannhauser Hosho troop ship. So this carries Marine Mobile Infantry Battalion, 350 Marines. So it's 2 companies complete with dropship and APC support. Then we've got drop pods, bunch of weapons, 2 autocannons, light missile launcher, 4 dropships, 4 fighters. Wow, it's a big boy. Got an exploration vessel, more science oriented. Also good as a first wave colony ship. So it's got cryopod, science labs, cryo decks, lots of life support, cargo decks, deep space scanners, 2 dropships and a science lab, laser cannon and laser defense as well, though. It's useful. Then there are various upgrades that you can buy for your ship. So minor upgrades and major upgrades. Good things like armor, AI, cushioning for passengers, med bays, science labs, upgrading your jump drive, increased mega damage output, targeting sensors, lots of cool stuff. And then different weapons. Class 0 vessels. These are short range vessels designed to go just between ships or between a ship and a planet. So we've got fighters, escape pods, coffin landers, boarding skiffs, drop ships, utility pods. Then we've got some rules about space travel, rules about interstellar travel, detection and range using your scanners and sensors, which we saw hinted at on the space combat diagram on the back of the poster. Ship-to-ship combat rules, which are nice and quick. Mega damage effects, how to repair your ship, maintenance issues that can come about, and major repairs that might come about. And then we have a ship manifest. It's got the mega damage table. You can put your transponder. So ship identifier, captain, make, model, stats and saves, remaining oxygen. That's important. Weapons, mega damage, hard points, crew complement, upgrades, repairs, and you can draw your own deck plan as well. Again, these are available digitally, so you don't need to actually write in the book if you don't want to. Then we got unconfirmed contact reports. So this is the monster book again. I'm going to just give you a general vibe of this. I'm not even going to read anything here. Just to show you, it's got very atmospheric, creepy artwork, which I really like. It gives me a vibe of Scrap Princess's artwork mixed with some other stuff. Got all sorts in here. Demons, we've got supernatural stuff, we've got weird alien entities, we've got, all kinds of interesting things. So if you want to take the idea of space horror beyond, the xenomorph arena, this is definitely a great way to do that. We've got some raiders, we've got little gods, we've got monoliths, all kinds of cool stuff. No-centric transmission, interesting. Omnivore, looks terrifying. Oidopolis Pico civilization, okay. Possessed people, pure love, interesting. Spore clouds, skipped one. High gold, the sea of silence. Lots of varieties of horrors, which I just can't wait to dig into, but again, this is just an unboxing, so I don't want to spoil everything. I will go through this game in detail. I definitely want to run this for my group. That's a terrifying illustration, by the way. I love that. You've got a nice index here with all the stats you need for quick reference, and 5 quick horrors as well. Very handy. So these are kind of the main books for the game system. You've got your Player's Guide, GM's Guide, Ship Guide, and Alien Monstrosity Guide. Then we have our other booklets, which are the Adventures. So we've got the Another Bug Hunt. This is the intro adventure. Dead Planet, which is a revision of what they said was an award-winning scenario. Got Pound of Flesh, which I don't remember what that's about. And then we have Gradient Descent, which is kind of I believe it's a kind of mega dungeon for Mothership, which is a really cool idea. Again, we'll just do a very quick kind of flip through so you can get a feel of what they look like. Got some cool charts here. Oh, I really like the layouts of all this. I mean, OSR stuff these days, the layout just kicks the crap out of D&D and a lot of modern games. I mean, everything that you need to know to run the adventure is highlighted. You know, things are carefully placed so that you know exactly what you need to know in a given room or area. I mean, I can see that happening in these as well. The maps are right where you need them. You know, fonts and highlighting are used to draw your attention to key elements. You've got portraits for all the NPCs. I mean, really, really excellent layout in general. Then we have Dead Planet. We'll take a quick flip through that as well. Okay, Screaming on the Alexis. Ooh, we've got a 3D deck plan. That's very cool. That reminds me a bit of one of the more recent Call of Cthulhu books, Nameless Horrors version 2, which has 3D plans as well. It's very cool. Derelict ship mapping using dice. That's interesting. Local draw. Okay. Don't know what that is, but it looks cool. Moon Colony Bloodbath. Moon Cannibals. All right, excellent. We've got a map of a moon base here as well. Some random tables to generate enemies just to mix things up. We've got some important peoples who look very creepy and or disgusting. D100 colonists and survivors. Nightmares, sculptures, and compulsions. D100 nightmares. We've got some more maps here. Landing area on the dead planet. Different encounters that can happen. The landing area zoomed in with different encounters in the swamp and the quarry. Got a necropolis with another encounter table. The dead gateway with special powers. Something happens with a ship crashing. And some more floor plans for something or other. Again, they got this kind of 3D look. Yeah, I really love the look of these adventures. They look like there's loads of content packed in a really efficient space, which I always like to see. One of the great things about OSR adventures, I guarantee you each of these booklets will be many hours of fun. So again, we've got some important people laid out here. We've got dry dock maps. We've got private rooms and some club. A chop shop. Oh, some interesting new stuff about cyber mods and stickware. That's cool. So some additional rules for a bit of cyberpunk, if you want that action. The ice box. So there's some cryo vats. We've got a farm with drug labs. That's always good. Some kind of market, battle stations, the court, Tempest Company HQ, Doptown. Don't know where that is. Choke, don't know what that is, but there's a really nice map there as well. The Sink, which seems to be part of a city. And we got the Burrows, which I'm guessing is some kind of underground region. Caliban's Heart, which is another dungeon crawly type region with some key stats for NPCs there. Some encounter tables, station encounters, deadly encounters, establishments, living expenses, things you might want to do in different places. D100 Denizens of the Dream. Space Station Toolkit. Space Station Structure, very cool. So you can generate space station as well. And noteworthy locations. Oh, fantastic. There's going to be a lot of emergent play and fun from these things. I love when adventures give you these random tables to play with to generate new stuff. So now we have the Gradient Descent. I've heard a lot of good things about this, so I was really looking forward to this one in the set as well. So deals heavily with the theme of what does it mean to be human. So there's some android children and some questionable morality in this module, so beware of that. It tells you how the book works, the rune keys and what they look like, and the symbology that's used. And there's a couple different scales. We've got some starting table, synthetic production facility, Ghost of the Machine. Wow, that's a terrifying image. Nightmare fuel. Got a jump ship with a commander. We've got the Bell, a retrofitted thruster cast off from the deep. Okay. More creepy looking NPCs inside the Bell with some artifacts and exploration you can do. Yeah, there's a lot of exploration. Wow, so it really is quite a lot of content here. I like that the maps as well look like circuit diagrams. That's very cool. So we've got floor 1, reception habitation. Floor 2, Eden. Reformatting suite. Floor 3, maintenance access. Well, That's terrifying. The Minotaur. That's gross. Labyrinth encounters. Okay. We got floor 3, the factory, the maintenance zone. I mean, there's so many rooms here. Yeah, I guess they said there were over 300 rooms, right? So definitely can see those. And they're nicely keyed, right? So each room has a sort of alphanumeric listing, which you can find easily on the map. And then it's got key features in red, and player interactivity things that you do in red as well. Again, you know, the layout is really easy to understand. You know what the key points of interest are, if you need to prepare an encounter, if they go into that room, all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's non-stop content. There is no wasted space here whatsoever. This is fantastic. I think this would be a lot of fun. And if you really get into the Mothership atmosphere of like everything is dangerous, you could die a lot, crazy shit is happening everywhere, I think this is going to be fantastic. And there's an AI core. Yeah, we won't look too deeply at these last pages just in case. And some artifacts as well, and a random search table. Brilliant. Well, all these adventures look amazing, so I'm really thrilled about that. The main books also look great. The GM guide, I'm very impressed with how comprehensive that is. I don't know what is supposed to go in containment A, because, I mean, there's an empty box. Is that supposed to be empty? I don't know. I guess that's where you can put your pawns and things. Yeah, so in here we have our stands for the pawns, and then we have our dice as well. So let's go ahead and pop these open. So we've got 2 sets of D100s as promised, and the special panic die. What's special about it? Oh, there's an exclamation point. So that's going to be your 1, because the opposite side of the 20. And I'm assuming that means something very bad is going to happen. Or maybe good. I don't know. I don't remember already. Somebody else in the comments, please tell me. But I will, like I said, I definitely want to run this game. It's exactly on brand for me. I love horror games. I love space games. I love OSR stuff. I mean, this is right up my street. And I love D100 systems as well. So, I mean, what more could I ask for, really? So, yeah, I guess what I can do is put some of this stuff into containment A for now. And when I punch out all of these fancy standees here, I can put those in the box in containment A. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so that is a quick look at Mothership first edition. I'm really excited by the contents here. The box looks amazing. The components are top notch. I'm really excited about the contents in general, both the books and the adventures. So yeah, if you're interested in space horror and you like a bit of OSR, you know, random tabling, emergent gameplay, and frequent character death kind of stuff, go out and get this. You won't regret it. I certainly don't regret pleading for the Kickstarter. I didn't mind the delay because I forgot about it. So yeah, it looks great. Once I get a chance to play it, I'll come back and do a more proper review. But until then, hope this gets you a little bit of an idea of what you get in the set. I think it looks excellent. Definitely worth the sticker price to me, plus the shipping. And can't wait to run it, to be frank. So I will try and do that as soon as I can. And yeah, hopefully we'll talk some more about Mothership as I get into some of these adventures and give you some actual play experience and talk a little bit more about the rules. But for now, I hope that gives you a nice little preview of what you can get if you pick this up or if it's coming your way in the post shortly. As per usual, in the meantime, I hope you take care of yourselves. If you feel up to it, I'm very pleased if you support my channel via the Ko-fi link in my description. I do spend a lot of money on RPGs, and I love reviewing them, and it's led to this kind of feedback loop of me spending even more money on games than usual. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I see you down in the comments below and in the next video as well. And hopefully before long, we'll come back and do a more in-depth review of the main books, at least for Mothership, and the rules in depth. So until then, take care, be well, watch out for bad panic rolls, and I'll see you in the next video, all right? Take care, and bye-bye.